Micro-multinationals are small companies that go global from day one. They tend to be very technology intensive. They use the internet to access international talent pools and markets. And they're very nimble, able to form and reform almost immediately to changing market conditions.
We believe that there's a new work order and that people essentially want to have more creative control over their work. They want more autonomy, they want more independence in how they work. And this is why we believe that we have seen this dramatic rise in the number of freelancers and self-employed.
In the past, a multinational company had to grow over a course of often decades. It took thousands of people to create a global company. You started out small, you had to become national, and if you were successful, you had a chance to access overseas markets. Today, that's not the case. A small company can be global with a fraction of the people that it required in the past, thanks largely to technology.
The new work order is about working more creatively, more autonomously, but also more collaboratively with people from all walks of life.
I don't think that we're going to see 200 to 300,000 people companies anymore. It simply doesn't make sense given the ability of entrepreneurs to tap into internet-based business platforms and services that replace many of the functions that might have been done previously by full-time employees.
Economic functions in the future, to a much greater degree than today, will be structured around projects where teams, highly specialized teams of professionals, will come together to work on a given project, and when the project is finished, everyone will go their own way again. And one can think of it a little bit like a Hollywood production, like a film, and where everyone comes together, and once the film is done, you go your own way, and hopefully you've produced a blockbuster.
In the past, you had to build all of your business infrastructure from scratch. Today, there's a whole array of business-based services and platforms that entrepreneurs can tap into. If you're looking for financing, you can go to Kickstarter or perhaps Y Combinator to get access not only to resources, financial resources, but also mentoring and support. If you're looking for information technology or software, you can go to Google or you can go to Amazon to get your IT infrastructure on demand, and the technology scales with your business. If you're looking for software coders or marketers, there's professional service marketplaces that you can get on-demand talent.
One of the reasons why the recovery has stalled is that we are essentially using old remedies for a completely new economic landscape. And this cannot work, and it is time, it is really a once-in-a-generation opportunity to do things differently and to take account of what are seismic developments in the global economy.
Policymakers need to understand how the corporate landscape is changing fundamentally. They need to look at entrepreneurs and young companies as new sources of job creation and growth, and they need to find ways to educate and train the broader population, give them better digital skills, more digital literacy, equip them with the skills they need to tap into these opportunities on the internet to really accelerate their ability to offer products and services to a global market.
What needs to happen is that we need to understand that we are essentially moving from a system that was based on concentration on a few big actors, that we are moving towards a system where there will be fewer big actors and more small actors. It'll be more dynamic, more collaborative, but it is a completely new system, and we need to make sure that we accompany this process while it is happening with the right kind of policies, and we also need to raise awareness among policymakers that this is happening in the first place.
Small size is no longer a liability. It means that, in fact, size could even be an asset because it enables you to be nimble and agile and be responsive to market forces. It means that you can scale up when you need to, tapping into new sources of talent, perhaps even new technologies or even scientific expertise. In fact, you could argue that size, large size, becomes a liability because you become bureaucratic and slow and potentially less innovative. And that's why we see large multinationals increasingly turning to small companies for new sources of innovation, new ideas, and they're emulating micro-multinational strategies to increase their speed and agility.
people, I believe, in the future will work very differently. And I think what we are witnessing is the demise of large, concentrated organizations, whether they be large government agencies or big macro multinationals. I think that in the future, units will be smaller, they'll be more agile, they'll be more collaborative, and at the very forefront of this will be the micro-multinational.
Large companies are struggling in part because of their inertia, because of their large size, and it means that increasingly they need to partner with micro-multinationals in order to increase their speed to market, increase their innovation and their capabilities. Increasingly they're giving more autonomy to their employees. They're creating separate business units that are outside the fabric of the traditional organization, in part to enable them to be more entrepreneurial, more innovative.
What needs to happen now is that essentially we need a new deal for this new economic era. It means that we need to fundamentally change our policies to take account of what is happening with the rise of micro-multinationals, with the rise in freelancing and self-employment. And if we can get that right, I believe that we can create the jobs, we can generate the growth, and we can be at the forefront of innovation.